Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bowerly.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and today we are breaking down our rankings for the Week 12 matchups ahead. We had a game last night in snowy weather. It's getting a little cold here in Florida as well, like I think 60 degrees. We're in our hoodies and our beanies and our gloves out down here. So pray for Florida. We're cold. Also, we have a big news, Daniel Jones. We'll get to that. But let's bring in Justin Bowerly to talk about all the news going on in the NFL world. What's up, Justin?
What's up? It's vacation mode for me here. So
you and Daniel Jones are both vacationing now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's the big news right here. Giants release Daniel Jones, and they will start Tommy DeVito this week. Which this is interesting because we've talked about this a little bit. If the Giants would have waited until June 1st to release Daniel Jones, they'd only had to pay him about $22 million over the next 2 years. They released him today, way before June 1st, and they're going to be on the hook for like his entire contract, pretty much. They're going to have to pay him I think upwards of 25 to 30 million this year and next year, which is, I don't know what the Giants are doing. Why they just bench him and be done with it until June 1st and then cut him after this season. I mean, it makes no sense what they're doing with their money, but I don't have that much money to waste. So
it's just a weird, apparently Daniel Jones asked for the release and they granted it.
Oh, did he? So me and my wife
what I read
at lunch today is that the only way this had to have happened is Daniel Jones had to have asked to be released, which if I'm him, knowing that I'm not going to play for the rest of the season, I'm going to want that money. So get cut before June 1st then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it at all. For Daniel Jones, good for him, man. I'm not going to say what I want to say, but this happens in the corporate world a lot, where a lot of mid to below average people get paid a lot of money to mess up every single day. Yep. So Daniel Jones just fits in with America. That's what we do. So congratulations, Daniel Jones. You're just like a lot of managers and people in the world.
Just like us.
Just like
Uh-oh. Hopefully you can see me, and maybe you can't see Josh. Yep, you can't see Josh. So I don't know what Josh is doing right now. But his internet sucks. So that is what it is. We're gonna just stick in here. Josh is back. Let's see.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm talking, and all of a sudden I'm not talking. So I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. I'm back. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So that this whole discussion or this whole Daniel Jones news got me arguing with someone at work today. I want to talk to you about this with Malik Neighbors and his fantasy moving forward. Weeks 1 through 4, he was the wide receiver 1. Week 7 through now, current, he's the wide receiver 23 in this time frame. Been a huge disparity from weeks 1 through 4 to now, where we're at now. People can blame the injury. People can blame the concussions. People can blame anything they want to blame. But the fact of the matter is, maybe weeks 1, it wasn't 1 because weeks 1 he didn't do this. Weeks 2 through 4, when he had 18 targets a freaking game, maybe that's the outlier. And when he gets only 10 targets a game from mediocre quarterbacks like a Daniel Jones or Tommy DeVito, he's going to be down into the wide receiver 24 to 30 range. I'm just putting that out there. I got massive feedback from this particular person saying, no, I'm wrong. And analytics say this, analytics say that. Malik Neighbors is a beast. But the numbers don't lie. He has only been a wide receiver 1 in those 3 weeks. Other than that, he's been wide receiver 24th 1 week or worse every other week. I'm just saying, where's the victory laps now, buddy?
Yeah. Chris? No. Yeah, I tried to actually trade for Malik Neighbors last night in a blockbuster trade that would have sent him Justin Jefferson, but it would have sent him Justin Jefferson and like 3 other players, including like Austin Eckler, Chuba Hubbard and someone else, and I would have gotten Saquon and Malik Neighbors back. He denied it. He actually countered it with only Malik Neighbors for Justin Jefferson. I told him he was an idiot. So
Was this in our league?
no, this is a home league where I've been making a lot of moves the last 24 hours.
All right, I was just saying, maybe I can jump in on that. Maybe I can jump. I'll offer CD for Neighbors.
I do have Justin Jefferson in a lot of leagues, and it's paying off right now for most of them.
Of course, it's paying off. So before we move forward into our discussion for our rankings that we do every week, we do have some house cleaning stuff to take care of. You can follow us OUSFF Pod on Blue Sky, I believe, not Twitter anymore. Instagram, TikToks, our website. Make sure you go there where our rankings are. You can follow along with the show. Make sure you follow me on Blue Sky at Josh Kimmel OUS, at Justin Bowerly as well. We are active over there, and we are doing pretty well. I think we're doing pretty well on Blue Sky. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm up over 1,000 now. So
this guy's up over 1,000. I don't know what I'm at. I don't go on social. I don't go on social media anymore.
Blue Sky is nice. It's actually real people that follow you and interact with you.
Can I tell a story? Can I tell a story real quick? Yeah. I promise. So I went on. It's our show. I went on X yesterday to give my wrestling guys do a wrestling show here on the Finstock Sports Network, and we communicate via X and Twitter. And as soon as I logged in, I had someone wanting to give me bets and analytics that are going to make me rich. I had a girl who wanted to meet me, and she wanted to have my babies. I saw a lot of pornography. I had a lot of bots, and then I saw a lot of Donald Trump. All within like a minute. I go on Blue Sky, none of that. So it's actually pretty refreshing over there. But how long until it goes over there? It's gonna merge over there, people. Just saying, it's gonna happen. Yeah, it happens with every single social media platform to existence.
I think the important part is just the people that don't want to deal with the toxicity is just we're not feeding into it now. It's just all right, block and move on with your life. Like it's not even engaging with that. And I think that's the biggest thing is that everyone over there is not engaging with the toxicity. We all know what we're talking about.
I don't know what
that part has been nice.
But yeah, it has been nice. But let's move on to our rankings. We're going to start at the quarterback position as we always do. They're very similar.
Wait.
We have something I missed?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, goodness. I was waiting for you to call me out. What happened? Tell me what I'm paying off because I don't remember.
Something about the running back position last week. Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs was going to I said Jahmyr Gibbs would finish. No, that was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. Let's get it straight.
What was the bet this time?
If we can't think of the bet, I don't got to pay it off. That's exactly why I asked you to pay it off. Because if there's no bet, there's no bet, people. And if in the chat, if you can remember it, please put it out there. I'll pay off my bets. But if there's no bet that couldn't be remembered, it must have not been that good.
I'll hit you up next week.
I did lose a bet. I promised him something.
What was it though? I don't want you to just drink to drink.
It was a running back bet where I said something. Say you had Saquon Barkley.
Oh, Saquon Barkley. I said Saquon was going to finish above Devon Achane.
Yes, Devon Achane.
So and Devon Achane did not. Saquon Barkley, I think, finished RB1 or 2.
Yeah, Saquon was amazing. Achane was on his way, but the Dolphins stopped throwing the ball. So
RB2 under Mixon.
I have a peach flavor high noon that I have to go ahead and finish. So we're just the drinking show now. We're taking Josh Wingate's Give It, the Beer and Sports podcast.
While Josh is drinking that, I do have to say I was wrong. I consulted about high noons, and you are right. Black cherry is the worst flavor. It's always the ones that you expect to be the good ones that are always the bad ones. And my wife actually said the peach one is actually pretty good. So, which is the one that Josh is drinking right now and dying from. So, this is a pineapple lemonade truly. So,
I gotta take a knee.
Just casually drinking on my day off. Josh is literally dying right now. So, I'm going to talk about last night's game. Josh didn't seem to want to talk about it. So, last night's game was pretty disappointing for all the players that you did start and pretty good for all the players that you benched, including Nick Chubb was pretty good. I had him on the bench in a lot of leagues. He scored 19 points. Calvin Austin, 17 points. Jalen Warren, 15 points. Jerry Jeudy, 15 points. Now, guys, you might have started Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, both 14 points. Freiermuth had 10. That's been pretty good for him. But Pickens had 9. Harris had 7. Elijah Moore had 5. Njoku had 4. Ford had 4. Tillman and Fields both had 3. Now, Tillman got 0.2 more points than Justin Fields. 0.2. Who would have called that? Who called that? Nobody called that.
Listen, nobody called that. We were actually big fans of Tillman this week. I don't know why people are surprised. Gosh, I am so dying of heartburn. I'm old. That went down not as good as it should have gone, but peach is the best flavor. But I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, that was a whole lot. But fantasy points wise for Thursday night games, this is the norm. This is what happens on fantasy football nights on Thursday night football. Usually they're bad games. Usually they're sloppy. Usually they're low scoring. Usually the fantasy stars don't come out. We were very privileged and fortunate for 2 straight weeks of really good, entertaining football on Thursday night. Now we're back to the norm. Now, was it the elements? Was it the snow? Was it the teams?
I've heard a lot that was a fun game to watch because it was a true snow game, which was cool. But outside of that, like, whatever. I'm looking back at who
you're down bad if you started
here.
Pickens. You're down bad if you started Pickens. And I'm down bad right now. I'm down bad in my Gatorade league. So I mean, we gotta overcome that.
This is what we all expected. We all expected a Steelers win. You called Harris to score the most points. Dave and I picked Pickens. Sean picked Russell Wilson. Derek said the defense was going to be the best, and then Moose picked. He said the Steelers would win, but Cedric Tillman would have a great game, and we were all wrong.
Who scored the most points?
So, Nick Chubb scored the most points with 19
Nick
points.
Chubb, bro. Freaking Nick Chubb.
I think the closest person to that would have been Russell Wilson with 14 points, which would have been Sean. And Russell Wilson finished as the 6th best player in the game.
And according to your rankings, which we're going to go over, you had Russell Wilson as your quarterback 12 this week. So unfortunately, that one's going to be a little wrong. It's okay. No big deal. It happens.
14 points. The quarterback position hasn't been the greatest. We have nobody playing this week. We have 6 teams on bye, which I think is a big factor this week. That 6 teams are on a bye week. And just to go over that, I'm trying to go back to my graphic here. Teams on bye this week include the Atlanta Falcons, the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to see quarterbacks missing like Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, and Trevor Lawrence. Russell Wilson could finish as QB12 this week. Just going to say. There's only 20 teams playing. There's only 20 teams playing. 20 quarterbacks are playing. Russell Wilson has to finish as not a bottom 8. He could finish his QB12 this week.
Stop, because it's not going to happen. Top 12 is way too high.
It could. 6 teams are missing this week, not 12 teams.
This guy was saying about 20 teams are playing. No, yeah. There's quite a few teams playing this week, Justin.
26 teams. He has to be better than 14 other quarterbacks.
Well, let's go over our rankings real quick. We both have, we don't both have. I thought me and Derek both have Jalen Hurts ranked as the number 1 quarterback this week. You have Jalen Hurts as the 3rd best quarterback this week.
Nobody can see that. Okay.
Nobody can see that. Yeah, it's too little, but that's okay. We tried. We're trying different things over here, and some things work and some things don't. It's okay. You have Lamar as your quarterback 1. I have him at my number 2. So we're pretty much flip-flopping Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Jaden Daniels. So why did you decide to put Lamar Jackson as your quarterback 1 against the Chargers, of all people?
I think the reason there is the reason I have every week, gut feeling. I think Lamar Jackson is coming off a nasty loss to the Steelers. I had to remember who they played last week, and they're going to want to prove that they're still the best team in the AFC and then that they're the team to beat. They're not, by the way. Don't tell anybody. But I think Lamar is going to just have a really good game off of the bounce back from the loss last week.
Okay. So I have Jalen Hurts as 1 because he's been actually the quarterback 1 since week 7. Been far and away the best quarterback in the world, and no one's talking about it right now. I don't know if you knew that or if anyone else knew that watching. But yes, Jalen Hurts is the number 1 quarterback since that time frame. But in that time frame, he's played teams like the Giants, Bengals, Jaguars, Cowboys, pretty much the bottom of the barrel at the quarterback position for defensively. So I'm expecting somewhat of a little downgrade from Jalen Hurts. But what's a downgrade from Jalen Hurts in this time frame? He scored 35 points against Cincinnati, 29, almost 30 against Jacksonville, 30 against Dallas. So three pretty much 30-point games in a row. And then last week against Washington, 18.7. He was a quarterback 16 on the week. I expect a little bit more than 18.7 going against that defense over there at the Rams, right? They play the Rams. So I just expect them to be middle of the road, which they are. And Jalen Hurts is getting things done this year. Jalen Hurts has been up on his accuracy. That's up about 4 points. His yards per attempt is leading the league, by the way, amongst qualifiers, because I know Anthony Richardson is just a deep ball thrower. But if the qualified quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts is number 1 at yards per attempt. Jalen Hurts has been throwing the ball deeper and deeper into his receivers more often than not. Even with the less rushing upside that he has these days, he's still getting it done in the air. Stop hating. Stop. Although Jalen Hurts has scored a bajillion rushing touchdowns in a row. Did you notice this? Did you know this? 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 rushing touchdowns since week 7.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. And I guess it's going to continue, or I hope it's going to continue because the trends show it does. He's only scored 0 rushing touchdowns in 3 games this season. Week 1 against Green Bay, week 3 against New Orleans, and week 6 against Cleveland.
It's a lot. Also, Jalen Hurts since week 7 is the second in yards per attempt, 0.1 behind Jared Goff. And since we count decimals now, especially, that is not first. But you are right. Jalen Hurts has been the number 1 QB actually since week 6. Yeah. And do you want to know the correlation between Jalen Hurts being the number 1 quarterback and not being the number 1 quarterback?
Tell me.
AJ Brown. AJ Brown has been back since week 6, and the two of them have been absolutely killing it. They're getting inside the red zone, and then once they get to the 1-yard line, you obviously know what's going to happen. Saquon Barkley is not going to get the ball, and Jalen Hurts is going to get the touchdown. So,
yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't hate that. He is a very, very good player.
I have some things to admit today on this show because there's a clip of me 2-3 weeks ago saying if James Winston's a starter, he's in my top 12 no matter what.
I was going to ask you about that.
I left him out. The Thursday night effect. I don't like ranking players on Thursday night highly because I don't think those games are watchable half the time. So I'm not going to rank these guys high because, yes, there's a chance that they do pop off. We have the chases.
Saquon Barkley last week.
Saquon Barkley, right? We have those. It happens rarely, once in a while in a season. The majority of times, it doesn't. Thursday night games are just messy. It's a disaster. No one likes them. I don't know why they still do them. But it is what it is. That's why I had him ranked 21st overall this week because I just didn't believe in Jameis Winston this week, especially against Pittsburgh, especially what I saw them do to Lamar. Call me a fraud. Call me right. I don't care either way because I was right.
I don't hate you for that. I said that Jameis Winston's ceiling over the next 3 weeks, including this one, so this one and the next 2 weeks is going to be is going to be 14 points. He put up 14.45. So technically, yeah, I am wrong on that. Sure, whatever. It's still 14 points. I don't care what you think. And the next 2 weeks, I still think it's going to be very similar. He's got 2 of the strongest defense. He has to play Pittsburgh twice in 3 weeks, and then he's got a tough defense next week. So again, Jameis Winston's ceiling over the next couple of weeks is only 14 points. Denver next week on the road, and then KC. So if you're really banking on Jameis Winston getting you into the playoffs, because once you get to KC in week 15, you have now played 3 of the toughest defenses against the quarterback position. I don't like your chances of making the playoffs if you absolutely have to have Jameis Winston get you into the playoffs. I just don't like it for you.
I'm going to do something fun here that we never do, and we didn't prepare for this, so hang tight, people. From our rankings that you see on our website, Justin, we have I'll start with quarterback 16 through 24. So that includes, and I will leave out one person, Russell Wilson, because he played last night, and he was 17th on our rankings collectively. Drake May 16, Stafford 18, Darnold 19, Caleb 20. Going to leave Jameis out because he played last night. Will Levis 22, Gardner Minshew 23, Tommy DeVito 24. From rank 16 to 24, which one could you see jump in the top 12 this week?
Drake May.
Drake May at Miami.
Most likely Drake May. Could see Sam Darnold popping off this week with having Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison had done well, but I know they got to go up against the Bears, but other than that, outside of Drake May or maybe even Matthew Stafford, the Philly defense is really good though. Will Levis, but I'm gonna go Drake May.
I'm going to go Caleb Williams against Minnesota. I think Caleb can put it together. Minnesota's defense is pretty bad, especially in the secondary. Dirtbag Dave could tell you that. Anyone can go off against Minnesota. If Caleb has one of these magical moments at home where DJ Moore and these guys just go off, Odunze catches a couple long, deep balls, I think Caleb Williams has and of course, the rushing upside. We saw against Green Bay, this dude was like Lamar Jackson out there rushing for over 59 yards, I believe it was. Insane. I think Caleb Williams could be the one that pops off in that top 12. So that would mean in the top 12, who's going to be moving out? I'm not going to list every name, but Justin, just take a glance at our top 12. Who do you think could take the biggest leap out? For you, it's probably Geno Smith. You have him at 14.
I just want to make a quick comment on Caleb Williams. He does. The Vikings only give up 15.5, which is the 23rd most in the NFL against the quarterback position. So their defense might be not great, but they're not giving up a lot of points to the quarterback position, which is actually kind of not great for them. Now, they do give up a lot of positions to the wide receiver. So the fourth most to the wide receiver. How that happens, we talked about this earlier in the week. I don't understand how you give up some of the most points to the wide receiver and not enough to the quarterback. That does not make sense to me because those are 1-1. I could see like not a lot of points to the quarterback, but then a lot of points to the running back. They're actually one of the stingiest defenses to the running back position. So
I guess they lock it down in the red zone. Don't allow passing touchdowns. That has to be it.
It has to be from the inside the 20s in the middle of the field. So anyways, people inside the top 12 to move out.
You have Geno out.
Yeah, I do have Geno out at 14 against Arizona. Arizona has been pretty good. They're actually surprisingly the number one team in the NFC West so far, which is highly surprising. Outside of that, I mean, Tua, I think it has a chance. That New England defense is getting better. I have him at 11 right now. We collectively have him at 12. I think those two are probably my top guys inside of our collective top 12 that could fall out of the top 12.
Yeah, I could easily see.
Brock Purdy also. Brock Purdy has a shoulder injury, so that might change things, and he might not even play this week. So,
yep, I could also see Patrick Mahomes. We have him collectively at 8. You at 10. I have him at 8 exactly. Derek over there has him at 7. I think Patrick Mahomes. He's been hot lately, but remember we were just talking about how Mahomes is a backup quarterback now in fantasy. He was a quarterback 23 not so long ago. So therefore, it could be easily a situation where they don't need to pull out the big guns against Carolina. They can easily let Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, if he's playing, take over and actually just run the clock out and you get this win at Carolina, move on with their lives. Mahomes doesn't need to throw for 3 touchdowns and 320 yards to be successful against Carolina. So I can easily see him moving outside of the top 12 easily, but he's still going to be a starter on my team. Let's move on to the running back position. That was a lot on the quarterbacks. We spent a lot of time on them. Let's go to the running back position because I think there's a little bit more differences between our rankings. Specifically, the top 3 guys, I think we all have them ranked different. None of us are the same. I have Saquon 1, you have him 3. I have CMC 2, you have him 4. I have Joe Mixon 3, you have him 1. I have Achane 4. Like, we don't agree on anything.
It's probably one of the first times this season. And this is one of the first rankings this season when I made my picks and then I didn't go back and adjust. Because we always talk, you always message me Friday mornings and you're like, hey, are you set on your guys? Because I'm looking at notes and trying to figure out who we're going to talk about. And I said, we didn't have that this morning, and that's fine. And I just was like, you
No,
know
we
what?
didn't.
I don't care, because usually what I will do, call me whatever you want. I'll set my rankings. Friday morning, I'll go back. I'll look at everybody else's and I'll be like, who am I like just absolutely like way off on people? And then I'll sit there and think, do they need to move up? Do they need to move down? No, I'm dead set. Joe Mixon was RB1 last week. He's been a top running back in the league this season so far. And I think he's just going to continue having good games. They've got Tennessee, who is not the greatest. They do have a good run defense. That's fine. But Mixon has just been a special player this year. It's really hard to not think that he hasn't been somebody good. If only like the Cincinnati Bengals had a player like Joe Mixon, he would be fantastic. I'm trying to go back here. I am back to week 6. Joe Mixon is still RB1 since then. Week 5, he's still RB1. So Joe Mixon has been RB1 since week 5.
Yeah. Joe
And he
Mixon's
was
been phenomenal.
he was RB3 in week 4. So he has been hot. He has been really good. And honestly, he has been the bright point to the Texans. And we want to talk. He's been RB1 since week 5. He didn't even play in week 5.
Dun dun. Right.
He didn't. He didn't play. That's how good he's been since week 6. That he didn't even need to play in week 5 to be RB1 since week 5.
No, it's great. Yeah, he's been phenomenal. I'm not hating. I have him third. I have him behind CMC and Saquon Barkley. It's I love Joe Mixon. This is the problem if they're playing Tennessee. Tennessee's not that bad against the run, but they're not that great. They're kind of middle of the road. They do give up 20.4 points to the running back position. I have Saquon higher because I just think the Eagles are going to go off this week. Like I have Jalen Hurts and I have Saquon ranked 1 at their positions because I think it's just going to be a rout. I think that they're going to blow this team out of the water, make a statement on the road. Nick Sirianni's trying to not save his job, but he's got criticisms. Are you a Sirianni guy? I feel like you are.
I hate Sirianni.
All right.
I hate him. He's the Colts' old offensive coordinator.
I know.
When the Colts fired Frank Reich, he was like, "That's for Frank," and like basically flipped off all of Indianapolis, and I've hated him ever since.
Okay. All right. It's personal with you. It's personal. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you have Jahmyr Gibbs ranked at number 2 against your Colts. I have him 6, and I do want to preference this. You have Montgomery 7th. You have 2 Lions in the top 7.
I do. You want me to talk about it?
Yes.
Well, I mean, let's look at last week. David Montgomery, RB4, Jahmyr Gibbs, RB8. I make these weekly leaderboards every week for the top 8 players every week. I consistently see more than anybody else in the league, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs finishing in the top 8. I'm always putting the Lions on this graphic every single week. It never fails. And in fact, this week, I almost made it all Lions because Jared Goff finished as QB1. David Montgomery, RB4, Jahmyr Gibbs, RB8. Amon-Ra was wide receiver 1. Jameson Williams was wide receiver 8. Then I got to the tight end position. And then Sam Laporta. Had the chance of just being an all Lions graphic until we ruined it with Sam Laporta. So I went back and changed it. But yeah, I have them both as a top 8. And the reason why, I think this Lions game is going to be a lot closer with the Colts than everybody's expecting. The Colts do play up to their opponent. The spread is currently 8, and the Lions are on the road. And the Colts secondary is actually doing a lot better than most people think. They were able to lock down Garrett Wilson last week. They were mildly successful against Devontae Adams. And the only person they really, truly struggled with was Breece Hall. Breece Hall in a little mixture of Braylon Allen. The thing the Lions are really, really good at, and the reason why their offense is so good is because Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery can catch the ball out of the backfield and just break away. They can also run it. They are just the 2 most explosive people on that offense. And yes, I'm talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown as well. I fully expect this to be a big Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery game against the Colts, who struggle against the running back. We talked about Josh Jacobs running all over them. Breece Hall has ran all over them. Pretty much everybody that they've played this season has ran all over them. Gibbs and Montgomery will as well.
I hope you're right. I have Gibbs, just for everyone to know, FYI, I have Gibbs at 6, so I'm not down on him at all. And I have David Montgomery at 13.
I got
Um,
Gibbs in 2 leagues last night. I've been trying to also get Montgomery in the same leagues.
well, there you go. There you go. Another guy I have ranked, I haven't talked enough on the show. I haven't, which is great because I'm
It's a
still,
great host. That's what you're
dude,
supposed to do.
that peach really messed me up. It did. And I'm trying
I
to stay
know.
cool. I'm trying to stay cool. Um, so we have Javonte Williams. I have him ranked 16th. You have him at 27th, and Derek has him at 26. He's collectively running back 24 for us. I don't know why we hate Javonte Williams so much, but we do. Maybe it's because he's only had 10 total carries in the past 2 weeks. Maybe because week 10 against KC, he only had 1. Maybe last week he had 9 against, like he's just not getting the usage he used to. 51% snap share last week. It's not great. 5 targets, 4 catches, 87 total yards, and a touchdown. So he still was running back 11. Hopefully this can continue. He's playing Las Vegas. Las Vegas, we know, top 3 worst rush defense in the league, 1,000%. We always say start your guys against Las Vegas. It's going to happen. You guys are super low on him. Is it because of the usage? I don't mind that. I understand you're scared. You're scared of the usage. I am too. He's not a slam dunk starter getting 20 carries a game. He's just not that person anymore, or never was. Week 5 against Las Vegas, he had a 62% snap share. It's very important to notice because he hasn't had that since week 8. We're into week 12, people. So you can see his usage going down big time. In that game, he had 6 targets, 5 catches, 111 total yards, no touchdowns, but he did finish running back 12 on the week. So it's very possible that they do lean heavy on the running backs because they do. Sean Payton's not a dummy. He knows how to beat a team. He's arguably probably coach of the year or one of them, in the running of them at least. I do think that he will get involved. He will be effective on the ground. I think he can get some stuff done. Not good enough to be top 12 like he was in week 5, but at least in that mid-range running back 2 situation. So don't be scared to start your Javonte Williams this week. Are you any way going to move him up after this conversation?
I might, mostly because when I ranked him, I didn't fully look that he was playing Las Vegas.
Wow.
I mean, anybody that's ever listened to me talk probably knows I'm not a big Javonte Williams fan. Never have. He's just always overhyped and then never performs enough. Last week, he did score 18 points. He did get a touchdown. He did get 5 targets, which helped him. And he brought in 4 of those targets. He just wasn't really used in the game plan a lot outside those 5 targets. And against Atlanta this week against Las Vegas, he should. I mean, hopefully he does get used. But yeah, the KC week was kind of worrisome. They gave Audric Estime 14 carries against KC. Jaleel McLaughlin's getting carries. I mean, Jaleel almost got the same amount of carries as Javonte did. So it does worry me. He will probably move into 24 for me. I can't move him up much higher than that, though, even with Las Vegas.
It's totally understandable. I definitely get it because he is scary to rank. He's one of those guys who can totally get phased out of a game. I have 17. Najee Harris he has to beat Najee Harris because I have Harris at 17. And I think that's doable. I really think because Najee didn't blow the doors off of anyone's house yesterday. He wasn't great. He was just average as usual. Chuba Hubbard. I have him at 25th. You guys have him at 18. And I say you guys, you and Derek. You guys both have him at 18. He's 20th on our list. Why do you think Chuba Hubbard's going to be successful against that Kansas City Chiefs defense? What is going on with you people?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the matchup. I don't know what to think about Chuba Hubbard this week because that's tough. I mean, that truly is tough. The best defense against the running back position is the Kansas City Chiefs at 32. They allowed 12.8 points per game. The Carolina Panthers, on the other end, allowed the most to the running back position, which is interesting. So maybe fire up Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco this week. I'm banking on Isaiah Pacheco playing this week.
I'm not
in a league.
Sit out, buddy.
I started him over Jerome Ford this week, which is fine.
It's totally fine.
My rankings, I don't know. Like,
listen, I'll take over from here. He's getting a 71.5% snap share at the moment. Jonathan Brooks is returning or making his NFL debut. We're expecting him to be.
I would have waited a week.
Listen, I'm off the
I would've waited
Jonathan
a
Brooks
week.
I'm off the Brooks bandwagon.
We
I've
know.
already moved him in leagues, you know that. But the thing with Brooks is he's going to get an opportunity. They drafted him for a reason. It's about time to put him in and see what he does. This is going to affect Chuba's snap share. No one's thinking about this. You know, we have teams all over the league with 2 running backs, and how the Buccaneers, Sean Tucker, Bucky Irvin, Rashad White, right? They have a bunch of running backs out there, and they try to get them useful. We know Sean Tucker's good at football, but they're like, nah, we don't have room for you. Is this going to happen to Chuba? But they just extended him. So is this bad for Brooks? The whole Carolina Panthers situation right now is a mess. I don't want to start any of them. I know Chuba's been awesome. I know he has. I see the numbers. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I can see what he's done. But now what's going to happen when Brooks here? I don't want to, especially against Kansas City. I don't want to put all my eggs in this basket. I'm not starting Chuba Hubbard if I don't have to.
Yeah, if you don't have to. Sadly, I think a lot of the people that do roster Hubbard are in that situation where they kind of have to start Hubbard.
But you don't, because you drafted him in round 12.
Yeah, but I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I guess I'm taking it from the 0 running back approach where like Chuba is my top guy, which just sucks. Also, Malik Neighbors is not practicing due to a groin injury today. Sure. So that's interesting.
I would, if I had Tommy DeVito thrown at me, I wouldn't practice either. But if I had Daniel Jones thrown it to me, I wouldn't practice either.
Fair. So this is such a weird week for them to say, Jonathan Brooks, here you go. Best defense in the league. To the
see what you got, kid. Let's see what you got, pal.
Let's see what you got. Maybe it's just to get him some game reps, get him some action. Because next week they got Tampa Bay, who gives up the 6th most points to the running back position. So that's interesting. Yeah. We have some questions if you want to answer a question.
I do, and I don't like it. I don't like the question.
Sam Darnold or Anthony Richardson rest of the season, or should he keep both?
I'm going to keep this one short and simple, Mateo. And I'm sorry, I would give you more analysis, but I don't believe in any of these players. I still don't think Darnold's going to start next year. Yes, I'll never learn from my Baker mistakes. It's fine. It's cool. It's totally okay. But I'm keeping the guy who has Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's as simple as it can be.
Yeah.
To me, you might be something different. You might like the Richardson's rushing for 59 yards a game or 60 yards a game. You might like the rushing upside, and you want that explosive. Because here's the thing. Here's the difference. Sam Darnold has Justin Jefferson, so I don't think he can flop. Which his production's gone down since week 1. That's just a fact. It happens. These quarterbacks aren't going to stay hot the entire season. Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. We all kind of forgot that this guy was kind of a bust and he was seeing ghosts, right? Now he's coming back down to who he is, which is fine. He's still a decent startable quarterback. Anthony Richardson gives you this upside, though. He can score you 30 points in a game. I don't think Sam Darnold gives you that same upside. So honestly, it's what do you want in your quarterback position? And that's something we don't talk about much on this show. The tight end position, the running back position, the wide receiver position. What do you want out of them? What do you already have on that? If you have safe wide receivers and safe tight ends, maybe you can put a risk on your quarterback position. Maybe you're okay with only scoring 10 points from your quarterback. But if he scores you 30 or 40, you're good to go. That's when you would want Anthony Richardson. But if you want more safety, more of a higher of a floor, more of a, okay, at least my quarterback's not going to kill me, then you want Sam Darnold because he's not going to kill you. He's going to score 14 points at the least, but at least he's not going to score you 2.2 like Richardson can because we've seen it. So yeah, that's what I would do.
You do bring up a really good point here about how what's the rest of your makeup. If you have other players that are scoring you 25, 30 points a game, start Richardson. It's a low floor, but it's a really high ceiling. And that's what you're getting. You're not getting that middle of the ground, which Sam Darnold is. Sam Darnold will consistently score you 18 to 24 points, which is really good. It's really good. It's QB 12. Richardson will score you 7 points or 28 points. Like there's no real middle ground there. And we talk about the wide receiver position. Who would you rather have the ball? Since week 8, Justin Jefferson has been wide receiver 11. Josh Downs has been wide receiver 8. Since week 5, Justin Jefferson has been wide receiver 10, and Josh Downs has been wide receiver 8. So if we're looking at fantasy production, Josh Downs is actually doing better than Justin Jefferson over the last several weeks. And that's with Josh Downs playing with 2 different quarterbacks. And you can't even be like, well, that's Joe Flacco numbers. He's actually played better with Anthony Richardson than he did with Joe Flacco. So
yeah.
In the last 2, keep 2 Washington Niners, Eagles defenses need to make room for a wide receiver. Why do we have to keep 2 of these guys?
Yeah, why are you keeping 2 defenses? Drop, only keep
Mateo, one. Do what I do when you have to play a defense, stream them. Like just go to the leaderboard every week and then pick up whoever the highest defense is that's on the waivers.
Nope, don't do that. Don't do that. Go to the waivers and pick up the best defense that's playing the worst quarterback.
Or that
because
too.
they're going to be the ones turning the ball over and not scoring football. So Washington's playing the Cooper Rush Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles are playing. We talked about the Eagles a lot today. How do I not know who they're playing? The Rams. So I would trash the Eagles. They're off my team. The 49ers, they're playing the Green Bay Packers. To me, to be honest with you, Jordan Love's been turning the ball over. So they're staying with me right now. You only have 3. So Washington or Niners, I'm going against Cooper Rush. I'm taking the guy who's playing Cooper Rush, and I'm dropping the Niners and Eagles. You only need 1. Unless it's a super flex that can start defenses.
Yeah. More injury news out there. Devonta Smith is absent again from practice. So that's great for me. AJ Brown. Yeah, I have to start Devonta Smith this week.
Bad times. We haven't even got to the wide receivers yet. We're 42 minutes in.
Yeah, let's get to the wide receivers. Do we need to talk about the tight? I mean, we can talk about one person in the tight end position, I guess, but
do we need to talk about the tight ends? That's
where
we're at now. That's literally where we're at in life. No,
God, it seems like so long ago when we were like, man, this is the deepest the tight end position has ever been.
And that was that. So we have Amon-Ra as the wide receiver 1 in our rankings. You have him at 2. We have AJ Brown at number 2. You have him at 1. I have him at 4.
You gonna move him up with the Devonta Smith injury?
Possibly. I might move him up for the whole Eagles sweep. Quarterback, running back, receiver. Let's do it. No, I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna keep Amon-Ra number 1 for now. Justin Jefferson, we have him at 3. Puka Nacua is our 4th. I have him at my number 2. Are you surprised by that?
At Puka being number 2, a little bit, but he has been really good since he's been back. So
dude, Puka's a baller. That's all I can say. If you bought him and you weren't afraid of his value dropping because Cooper Kupp, congratulations. It's paid off in dividends. He is a complete monster. JSN, you have him ranked the highest at number 8. I'm a fraud.
I believe in him now.
I
believe he is the truth.
It's about time you believe in him. But here's our biggest gap. I have Ladd McConkey at wide receiver 9 this week. You have Ladd McConkey at wide receiver 18. Why do you hate Ladd?
I don't. I like the guys I have above him. Now, mind you, I have George Pickens at 10, so that sucked. DK Metcalf at 15. CD at 16. You said I had Ladd where? 18?
18, yeah.
That's fine. I mean, like I understand he's going against Baltimore. I get it. Like he's probably gonna kill it. I'm gonna be wrong. Will he move up? Probably. Will I move Zay Flowers down? Probably.
Here's the thing. He's coming off of a career high target at 9 against Cincinnati last week, a career high in yardage, 123. And I'm looking career high in catches, 6. So maybe I'm the idiot that's just chasing the points and chasing last week's success. Maybe this is my Isaiah Likely week where we all thought Likely was going to be the best tight end of all time after week 1, and he fell off the face of the planet. I'm not saying Lad's going to fall off the face of the planet because he is averaging pretty good points. He was a wide receiver 2 in week 8, just because he had 2 touchdowns, but still, he had 2 touchdowns that week, so he's majorly involved. Lad McConkey's a guy that people liked in the offseason, and we were all kind of in and out on him. His target share is at 22.7%, so he is getting effective wide receiver 1 targets. That's where you want to see your wide receiver 1 at, maybe a little bit more, not to the neighbors' extent where it's like 37%, but 22.7 is just fine. He plays in the slot a lot, 6th most in the entire NFL, so he does play in the slot, so that's good for Justin Herbert in that offense. I'm just thinking they're playing Baltimore. They have a terrible secondary. Justin Herbert's a very, very capable, good quarterback. It's just how many times are they actually going to throw the ball? Is it Jim Harbaugh? I hate both Harbaughs, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Hate them both.
Jim is in LA. John is in Baltimore.
I can't stand either of them. But so I hope they tie, just so we don't have to, so nobody wins. But I do think that he is smart enough to understand, oh, wait, maybe I'm not going to play like high school football. Maybe we both throw the ball more than 15 times today. I'm hoping that's the case so Lad can get more involved. I'm a big Lad guy. I think he's one of the most consistent receivers the Chargers have had since Keenan Allen, which obviously Keenan's a Hall of Famer. Obviously. Is he a Hall of Famer to you, Keenan Allen?
I think he should be. I think I see Keenan Allen in the same like boat as Andre Johnson. Like Andre Johnson's a Hall of Famer, right? He didn't win anything, but he was really good his entire career up until the later years, and that's kind of what Keenan Allen is. He's really good, and he's starting to fall off, which was expected.
Yeah, agreed. 1,000%.
Can I talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown real quick?
Yeah, we can talk about
and why I have him at 2 and not 1, like the other two.
The other two.
This is not just being a homer here. Like I'm just saying, the Colts secondary is actually pretty solid against other teams' wide receiver 1s. Not the best. I'm not saying they're the best and they lock down everybody, but here's several different wide receiver 1s that in their fantasy production against the Colts. But I do have one question for you. Do you consider Garrett Wilson or Devontae Adams to be the wide receiver 1 for the Jets?
Garrett Wilson.
Okay, so Garrett Wilson put up 5.8 points against the Colts defense on 8 targets. Khalil Shakir put up 11 again on 9 targets. Justin Jefferson did put up 21 on 9 targets. That one sucked. Tank Dell, the week that they played the Colts, was the wide receiver 1. He put up 13. Tyreek Hill put up 2.3. Calvin Ridley put up 0.9 on 8 targets. Brian Thomas did put up 23. DJ Moore put up 15. Okay, that was early in the season also. And George Pickens put up 16.3. But since that Minnesota game, since the Tennessee game, Justin Jefferson has been the only team that has absolutely torched them for 21.5 points. I don't see Amon-Ra St. Brown being able to do that. He is the wide receiver there. If anything, I see Jameson Williams having a better game than Amon-Ra St. Brown. And for all the reasons why I said Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are going to do really good this week. I think the Colts secondary will mostly shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown. He'll get the targets. He will get the targets. He will not get the touchdowns.
Oh, I 1,000% agree with you, man. And we're short on time, so we're going to switch over to the tight ends real quick and get this thing moving. Travis Kelce is our number 1 guy, but he's not mine. No. I have Trey McBride as my top wide receiver. Tight end 1. Just for this reason alone. Brock Bowers is playing Denver. I do believe in Denver's defense, and I do believe that he's number 2, so it's not like I put him at 10. So chill, everyone. But Travis Kelce, Travis Kelce, he's my 3. It's because he's the kind of guy, and I said this from the very, 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 very beginning of the show, week 1. He's break glass in case of emergency. If they need him, he will produce. If they don't need him, he gets the day off. They don't need him against Carolina. They don't. He can actually be sitting in the suite if he wants to with Taylor. Like he doesn't even need to suit up to beat these guys. It could be Noah Gray and Justin Watson and the other bums to beat the Carolina Panthers. They won't. Why would you use up that? I think Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and that whole entire team is smart enough to know, hey, This is a meaningless game against a meaningless team, and we don't need Travis Kelce. Yes, he'll suit up still, of course, to get his game check and do all the stuff he needs to do. But
So
he's
did they
not.
not need him? Did they
He
not need
doesn't.
him last week in Buffalo?
They're not going to need him against Carolina. I'll tell you that right now. Unless it's a big FU game, like, oh, we still got it, so we're going to beat. It's kind of like if I lose to the computer and all Madden, which I don't because I don't play Madden anymore. And then I go, hey, son, hey, 6-year-old son, I'm going to beat your ass just to make myself feel better. Maybe they'll do that. But I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Damn, so they didn't need him in Baltimore. They did beat him. They didn't need him in Cincinnati.
Well,
They didn't
hold
need
on.
him in Atlanta.
When did Rashee Rice get
San
hurt?
Francisco. Okay.
Are you
They
looking at
didn't need
old
him in
games?
San Francisco.
Are you looking at old
Week
games?
7, San Francisco, 5.7 points. Las Vegas, apparently they really needed them to beat Las Vegas. He had 25 in that game.
Yeah, and
They didn't need him in the Buffalo because he got 2.8. So
yeah, didn't need him. You know what? The funny thing about Buffalo, and this is the Finstock Sports Network, so I can say this: Buffalo and all you loser fans out there, you losers, you think you won something because you won a regular season game because you beat them every time in the regular season.
Got to beat him in the playoffs.
Got to be in the playoff, you losers.
Every Buffalo fan will tell you that win did absolutely mean nothing. It meant nothing to them.
Don't tell.
We had brunch Sunday with 2 people from Buffalo, and they were like, I was like, big game today, and then they were like, we don't care. Like, it's regular season. We could beat them now, but we'll lose in the playoffs. It doesn't matter until we win the playoff game. And I'm like, okay, okay, all right, I see it.
It's true. It's true, though. But that being said, maybe I'm a little bit too low on Kelce. I do have him at 3, so it's not like a crazy low.
I have him at 1 because the Panthers give up the most points to the tight end position. So, the most.
Picking nits over here. That's the only thing I had to talk about tight ends. Like, I do not care about tight ends.
Nope, don't care.
Wait, whoa. Where do we have? Is he off this week? Or is New Orleans off this week? Yeah, they're off this week. I was curious to see where you put Taysom Hill, but I forgot New Orleans is off. He'd be tight end 1. I was 2-0 against Taysom Hill last
Jonnu
week.
Smith, top 10.
Yeah, I have him at 10. Let's go. Let's go at New England. I'm down for that. I think that could be a possibility. Jonnu Smith's getting more and more involved each week. He's getting more comfortable with that offense. I think he's very, very good for this Miami Dolphins. They were lacking a tight end we all know Durham Smith wasn't the best. I have Hawkinson at 11. You have him at 6. Hawkinson's been extremely underwhelming. Everyone is enamored with Will Dissly lately. He's going against Baltimore. We have him at 8. It's just because he had a really good game last week, scored 19 points. He is a good target there for Justin Herbert. I do like this matchup against Baltimore. And then the last guy I do want to mention, we don't have to go in depth on this as well. Just a little shout out there. Where do we have Mr. Cole Kmet? I have him at 17. You have him at 19. Why do you hate Cole Kmet? This was your guy. This was your favorite tight end of all time. Have you given up on Cole Kmet? You're the only person that ever brings him up.
I don't. It's hard to trust him right now. Like, he's not producing. He hasn't produced since week 6.
No.
He hasn't scored more than he had 7.2 last week. He 3.3 the week before, 0 the week before, 4.4 the week before that. He hasn't done anything since week 6 when he scored 24 and he was tight end 1. He's had a tight end 1 finish, a tight end 2 finish, and then not inside the top 17 outside of those 2 finishes.
Sam Laporta, tight end 15 for you and I. Sam Laporta, we hate you. What's it? That's all I have to say. That's all I wanted to say on Sam Laporta. Is there any saving grace for Sam Laporta? Do you think – this is a good question. This is an offseason question. And if you guys are watching the chat, I know that I see a lot of you people watching. Will Sam Laporta still be a top 8 round pick next year?
That's a great question.
I can't wait to revisit these things. Off season's the best. I love talking off season because that's when we can just ponder questions, talk nonsense, tell everyone that Jalen Wright's going to be the Miami Dolphins' best running back, right? Or what else did we all say in the offseason? We all said some stupid stuff in the offseason. We all do. But hey, that comes with the fantasy industry. We all have to call our shots and say what we're going to say, and some of it's right and some of it's wrong. Most of it's wrong, to be honest with you. It is. Most of everyone is wrong. That's just a fact. If everyone was right, Ronald Jones would be the running back one forever. It just didn't happen, but it's okay. Not me. I wasn't that dumb. But anyway, you're not that dumb because you watched us today on your fabulous, amazing, fun Friday. Here it is November 22nd. So thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please subscribe to the show. Make sure you drop a like. It really helps out. Remember, 1,000 subs before the end of the season. I don't think it's going to happen. So you guys are slacking. I will shave my head and donate it to wigs for kids. I have very long hair, so I don't want to do that. Do not sub. Thank you so much. Justin, we're getting out of here. I'm going back to work. Enjoy your vacation. We'll see you next Tuesday. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.